Hello. So today we're going to talk about lung cancer. This presentation will go over what lung cancer is, how cancer in general happens, and we're going to talk about some facts about lung cancer, why it's important to think about it, and some steps we can take to prevent it. This presentation is usually given in with an audience, a small audience, like on Zoom or something like that, where it's interactive. And so there are some slides in here that I will skip because those are like questions that people can answer, or just like notes about the presentation when it's live. But usually those are given in Spanish, and for that reason, I wanted to make one that was in English so that it was fair. So I will be skipping those slides that are the interactive ones, but other than that, it's all the same. So let's get started. First, we want to talk about who we are. Latinas Contra Cancer in San Jose is a nonprofit organization established in 2003 to provide cancer education, patient navigation, and psychosocial support to Latino families facing cancer. It's Our goal is to provide greater access to high quality medical care and connect at a national level to Latino support agencies. So first, we're going to talk about how cancer happens, what causes cancer in general. Every single part of our body is made of cells. These cells are very small and they pack together to create bigger things like our lungs and our heart and our bones. It's like the clothes you wear. You see a shirt or pants, but when you look really closely, you notice it's actually made of a bunch of little strings closely packed together. Together, the strings make the shirt, and in the same way, together, the cells in our body make our organs and make our body. In order for us to keep growing or repair ourselves, such as when we get a cut, our cells divide. They replicate everything that's inside them and divide in half multiple times to make more and more cells. In a single day, 2 trillion cells divide in our body. The machinery that makes our cells work and that allows our cells to keep our body functioning is very complicated, and it's very, very specific and delicate. A small mistake in the division of a cell can make the cell completely malfunction. And if that bad cell stays in our body, it's going to divide, and those cells will also be bad. And again, there's trillions of cells that divide in our body in a single day. So that's lots of chances for things to go wrong. But usually our body, our immune system will kill a bad cell as soon as possible to prevent it from dividing and making more bad cells. But nothing in the world is perfect, and sometimes our bodies don't recognize when a cell is not working properly. And this is what causes all disease. When cells don't work the way they are supposed when cells don't work the way they're supposed to because of an error, that causes disease. In the case of the disease that we call cancer, the problem with the cell is that it begins to divide uncontrollably. The way our cells know to divide in the first place can be quite difficult to understand, but I think it's very important we understand it because this is what causes cancer. Basically, there are guards in our cells that tell the cell it's okay to divide or it's not okay to divide, we're not ready. In reality, we don't actually have guards in our cells. These guards represent certain genes in our DNA, but I will talk about guards because this is just easier to visualize. So one of these guards comes from our mom and one from our father. If we lose one guard, it's okay. We can still function because the other guard is still working and keeping everything under control. But if we lose both guards, our cells can't control their division anymore. They don't know when it's okay to divide. They can be full of problems, but usually your guards will stop them and say, wait, we can't divide because we're full of problems. But when we don't have our guards, the cells will just divide no matter how bad they are. This is what cancer is. In cancer, our cells will divide and nothing will stop them because those cells lost their guards. And of course, this can happen anywhere in our body because our whole body is made of cells, which is why there are so many different types of cancer. Pancreatic cancer means the cells in our pancreas started dividing uncontrollably. Breast cancer means that the cells in our breast started dividing uncontrollably, and so on. Some cancers can be genetic and some usually aren't. The way a cancer is genetic doesn't mean that your parents passed you the cancer or that you were born with it. It means you're more likely to get it because one of your parents or unfortunately passed you a little problem. The reason cancer can be genetic is because you were born without one of your guards. This could be because one of your parents lost their guards during their life, or if they were already born without it so that they couldn't pass it to you. When you're born without one of your guards, you are at a disadvantage already because only one bad thing has to happen for you to lose your other guard, and then there's no control. People who are born with both guards have better chances because it is very unlikely to lose both guards during your life. It is more likely to just lose one. So, how can we lose our guards? We can lose our guards through chance or through environmental factors. This means that being exposed in high amounts to radiation, UV light, which comes from the sun, or toxic chemicals. These toxic chemicals can be in our food, such as pesticides used in crops, in waste, in alcohol, and processed foods and drugs we are given to treat other diseases, in smoke that comes from factories, and in smoke from cigarettes and other drugs. These things can kill our guards, but that doesn't mean that if you eat an apple that isn't organic or if you get an x-ray, it doesn't mean that you will get cancer. Our bodies are different and they each react to things in different ways, but being exposed to these and many other environmental factors can cause our guards to die, especially if you're exposed to them for long amounts of time. And so these are the things that cause cancer. The uncontrollable division of our cells causes clumps of these bad cells, which are called tumors. As I said before, once the cell stops being able to control its division, more and more mistakes that ruin the function of the cell will happen, and these problems will be passed on to the daughter cells through these uncontrollable divisions until the cells in the tumor are completely unrecognizable as the cells they used to be. For example, if this was breast cancer, the breast cells would no longer look like breast cells, and they would only work to cause chaos and to turn good, healthy cells into more cancer, like zombies. Now, not all tumors will lead to cancer. Cancer meaning that the bad cells will be so bad that they will cause our body to stop working properly. Some tumors are benign, and these can often be removed, and in most cases, they do not come back. Malignant tumors will cause problems in our body. This is because malignant tumors will have cells that will travel to other parts of our bodies. In benign tumors, the bad cells stay within the same area and aren't so far down the zombie route that they are still recognizable as the cells they're supposed to be. In malignant tumors, the cells are so monstrous and so unrecognizable that they just cause chaos, and they travel through our through our blood and through our lymph nodes to other parts of our body, causing cells there to become cancerous. Once the cancer travels to multiple parts of our body, it's a lot harder to remove. And why is it important to bring awareness about cancer to Latino communities? Because 1 in 5 Latinos in the US die from cancer. It causes more death in Latino communities than heart disease. These are rates that are much higher than in white communities. Latinos are diagnosed at much later stages of cancer when it is harder to remove than other ethnic groups, causing Latinos to die from cancer at higher rates. This is because Latino communities are more likely to be exposed to all the things I said kill our guards, such as unhealthy air, poor diets, etc. And this is because Latino communities in this country are more likely to be low income and to not be able to afford to live in the areas that have good air quality, to afford healthy food, to afford health care, or to have access to the education that allows them to know what the risk factors for cancer are and how to prevent them. So it is important for us as Latinos to understand that these are the disadvantages our community has, that this is the state of our community in this country, so that we can take control of our health, so that we can take the measures to take care of ourselves in the best way we are able. Okay, so now we are going to talk specifically about lung cancer, some facts about it, and and just some ways to prevent it. Smoke from drugs is the most prevalent cause of lung cancer because it is a way that cancer-causing chemicals directly access lung cells. As I said, chemicals can kill our guards, and those chemicals are directly interacting with our cells because when you smoke, the smoke goes into your lungs, and so it directly has direct access to our lung cells, which makes it a lot easier for the chemicals to kill our guards. In addition to directly smoking a drug, being exposed to secondhand smoke, whether from someone smoking or factory smoke or that kind of thing, also causes cancer for the same reasons. Um, 1 in 5 Latino teens smoke, and 1 in 10 Latino high school students smoke. So the prevalence of smoking in Latino communities is very present. 87% of deaths related to lung cancer are due to smoking. Lung cancer is the type of cancer that causes the most deaths in the United States. It is also the second cancer that causes the most deaths in Latinos after breast cancer. So I said that smoking is the most common cause of lung cancer, but what does it mean to smoke? When I say smoking, you're most likely thinking about tobacco cigarettes that you can buy in normal stores. And yes, tobacco cigarettes can cause cancer, but also the smoke of any drug. The smoke from electronic cigarettes is also bad. There are several types of electronic cigarettes. Juuls are very common among young people. Cigarettes and other forms of smoking marijuana can also cause lung cancer, and any type of drug that can be inhaled or smoked can cause cancer. And again, just because you smoke any of these once in your life or for a year, that doesn't mean you will definitely get lung cancer, but the more you smoke, the more you risk, the more your risk of lung cancer increases. The risk of being diagnosed with lung cancer increases with the number of cigarettes a person smokes each day. And if you smoke for many years, for decades of your life, it is very, very likely, almost inevitable, that you will develop lung cancer. And you also have to remember, if you smoke and want to quit, but it is very difficult for you, this is not because you are weak or something like that. In fact, the CDC recommends 8 to 11 attempts to quit smoking. It is normal for quitting smoking to be difficult. That's a biological reaction. It's the way everyone's body works. It is not the fault of the person who has trouble quitting. They're not weak or anything like that. It's literally just the biology of everyone's body. Smoking also doesn't just cause lung cancer, but it can also cause hypertension, other lung diseases, heart attacks, other types of cancer such as bladder, kidney, or esophagus, and more diseases. Some symptoms that you can see for someone that has lung cancer, normally symptoms don't show until late stages of lung cancer. But some common symptoms are coughing or coughs that don't disappear or that worsen, coughing with blood, hoarseness, loss of appetite, inexplicable weight loss, difficulty breathing, fatigue, feeling weak, and that's a typo right there, feeling weak, and constant lung infections. We also want to clarify that cancer is not a punishment from God. It can happen to anyone, good or bad, and cancer is not contagious and can be treated. In some cases, cancer is hereditary, but we've already talked about how that doesn't mean you were born with cancer. It simply means that you were born with a higher chance of developing cancer. But lung cancer in particular is caused more by decisions you made during your life and is less common to be hereditary. Also remember that it is not bad to talk about cancer. It is important to talk about cancer so that those with information can share it to increase awareness and early detection of cancer. Not talking about cancer or being afraid to talk about it with our friends, family, and healthcare providers can be deadly and fatal since, as we mentioned, cancer cells can migrate to other parts of our bodies And that is why it's important to detect it as soon as possible, because when it migrates to multiple parts, it becomes a lot harder to treat. The American Cancer Society recommends people have an LDCT, which is a CT scan that is used to diagnose lung cancer. So it's a special diagnosis test. If you are 55 to 75 years old, or if you have a 30 pack year history of smoking, pack year history, that's a number that represents the number of packs you smoke per day multiplied by the years you smoked. So, for example, if you have smoked 2 packs, or if you used to smoke 2 packs a day for 15 years, that would be 2 times 15, which is 30. So, you should have the test, the LDCT test done. Also, this recommendation applies if you are currently smoking or if you stopped smoking in the last 15 years. Finally, it is important to talk to your doctor and tell them if you smoke so that they can keep that into consideration when they're giving you care. The most important way that you can prevent lung cancer is by stopping or quitting smoking or to not smoke at all. After that, it is important to prevent being exposed to secondhand smoke, be it drug smoke or industrial smoke. Also, eating healthy, eating fruits and vegetables that have antioxidants is important since they help the body protect itself against chemicals that can cause cancer. Also, exercising and reducing stress can help you quit smoking and prevent cancer. Headaches, digestive problems, and anxiety are symptoms of stress. Reducing stress can help you quit smoking, prevent cancer, and simply improve your life. To reduce stress, you can try to take a positive attitude, read, walk, meditate. Um, and if you need emotional help, you should definitely seek it. On the subject of meditation, there are several ways to start meditating. For example, there are videos that you can watch on the internet, on YouTube, or there are phone apps that will teach you how to meditate. Personally, I use an app called Headspace. It teaches you how to meditate. And I'm sure there are several other types of applications for this. This one you have to pay for. I don't pay for it. They have 10 free videos, so I just use those 10. And I think they're really helpful if you want to start getting into meditating. Finally, we want to draw attention to support groups. Support groups can improve the quality of life for cancer patients, survivors, and families. Support groups create an environment of support and understanding. It can help detect and reduce emotional trauma by reducing feelings of isolation and loneliness, as it allows you to hear the stories of other people who are going through very similar situations and having similar feelings. They can also give hope and self esteem since they allow you to hear the stories of how other people were able to overcome their situation. Our organization, Latinas Contra Cancer, currently provides the support group service. So if you're interested in knowing more about our support group, let us know and we'll help you join one. And that is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about the presentation, you can feel free to email us. Please let us know if you have any feedback. And for more information, you can visit our website, which is linked here. And thank you so much for learning about lung cancer. And I hope you share this information with your family members.